2020 was going to be a fantastic year. A lot of new opportunities, a lot of shows, new clients. So I was very excited. So March came down, and I really think it was going to be a 2 weeks forced vacation, right?
Se me acabó el escape con el coronavirus. Ya no puedo seguir tocando música, o no se puede porque todo está cerrado.
We have we have a studio in our garage, which we're very blessed to have. And but it was like when COVID, the first that spring of 2020, when it all started to happen, I think the first 2 weeks we had like the surge of energy, and I was like, we can do this. The kids are home, but I have the schedule that I made for the kids, that we're gonna go on runs.
And then I realized this thing is serious. So I'm an event organizer. I organize festivals, concerts, and I'm a musician. So both of my worlds involve gathering people. And that's what you couldn't do. And that was like, I felt like it was a direct stop sign for me. So I was shocking. I moved to this country to pursue my music career. So this is what I do. This is my passion.
He like wanted to be he always wanted to be a musician. He moved to the United States. He wanted to like make it in music, and had this sort of idea of what that would look like. And it turned out to look like something differently, where he was like making music in Spanish and really promoting his culture here. Whereas when he came, I think his idea was like, oh, I'm going to be a rock star, like the ones I see on TV.
Empezamos a tocar en restaurantes. Fue una aventura súper chévere porque nosotros siempre teníamos ese sueño del rock and roll y todo eso, ¿no? Pero a la misma vez era una aventura un poco extraña porque estábamos tocando para gente que no nos entendía lo que hablábamos, lo que cantábamos.
My intention to move to the US wasn't to make Latin music. I moved to the US because I wanted to make it in the music business of playing in a typical rock band, like, playing alternative rock in English, and the way that I was growing up watching it in MTV and VH1. So that's what I came to the US.
When I was here in the 80s, Charlotte was a white bread town. I mean, you couldn't get whole wheat. You couldn't get baguettes. You couldn't get tamales. All of the different flavors that I was used to in big cities up north, Charlotte hadn't figured that stuff out yet. And so when Latino people started to show up, restaurants, musicians, when you started to look at the telephone pole and there was one of those handmade ads in Spanish, that was really special.
I want to go out somewhere, and then somebody, I can't remember exactly who, told me that night that there was a band playing at Tabloids, and well, they didn't say expressly that they had somebody from Venezuela. They said they had somebody, a South American guy playing. And I'm like, sounds interesting. But it's an all-American band. And they're like, yeah, they're all-American. They're called the 11th Hour, and, they play full rock. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm down.
I was having fun. I was playing until I met my friend Fred, which is the singer of UltimaNota.
Somehow, I don't know what happened, but I made my way all the way up to the front of up by the stage, and there was nobody there yet. But I'm checking out what's on stage, and your drum set's there, and the bass and everything's kind of like set up, and your guitar amps and everything on there. And then I take a look at the amp on the guitar, and it had a little Venezuelan flag on it. And then I got excited. I'm like, oh shoot, that might be the guy.
And this guy came to me and he said, do you speak Spanish? And I said, yeah. Are you from Venezuela? I said, yes, me too. And my reaction to that, so why are you talking to me in English? And then we start talking, and I'm a musician too. I play guitar and sing. So we exchanged number, and then we met at my apartment. We grabbed the acoustic guitars, and we start playing music in Spanish. And that was like a light bulb that went on. And I said, this is what I need to be doing here.
Before Tony even had UltimaNota, I've known him for years. I was still, I think, in high school when I first met him, and me and my brother would go to this old bar called Hemingway's.
Hemingway's.
Hemingway se llamaba.
Hemingway's.
Le cabían legalmente unas de 50 a 100 personas.
Sí, eso sí.
Menos de 100.
Como 50, 60.
50, 60.
Legalmente.
Legalmente. Pero después de las 12, tú podías ver claramente que había gente afuera y adentro. Había más de 150 personas ahí una vez. Una de las mejores noches, me acuerdo, así estaba
Jam-packed.
jam-packed.
Empezamos a hacer rock en español. Y eso era lo que hacíamos, y empezamos a tocar cada 8 días, y de ahí empezaron a salir otros gigs y otras salidas del concepto en otros lados. Pero hasta un momento dado, que fue cuando quedé embarazada de mi primer hijo.
Yo le decía, Ana, estamos ensayando esa guitarra a todo volumen con 2 Marshall, y ese niño, ese bebé no le hace, no, tranquilo. Y así fueron los primeros años, ¿no?
Éramos las únicas bandas que había en ese momento en español, tanto La Rúa como los de Paula, que era la banda de Tony.
Y de repente me dan un flyer de un show de rock en español en Charlie, con otro grupo. Yo, coño, ¿qué es? Y cuando veo, dice La Rúa, ¿no? El baterista era el que cantaba y solo tenía un micrófono, pero lo que me llamó la atención de ellos es que tenían una energía, que tenían unas ganas de hacer música increíble. Y empecé a tocar con ellos.
Y se vendió el Tony a la Dark Side.
Tony se separó de los de Paula y tuvimos un acercamiento y comenzamos ahí.
So my wife got pregnant, and I completely freaked out because I wasn't sure if with the money that I was making in my day job was going to be enough. So playing rock en español is a wonderful feeling, a lot of energy, a lot of feeling, but you don't really make that much money. So I talked to Fred and my friend Joshua, Joshua is a great percussioner, and he's more, back then, he's more in the tropical side.
Joshua, he was probably the one that loved the Latin music the most. He grew up in La Guaira, and that was part of his DNA.
Había un bajista antes de que yo tocara con UltimaNota, mi amigo Daniel, con el que vivíamos en un basement. Tony me dice, ¿quieres tocar? Y le dije, ¿qué tipo de música es? Salsa, unas cumbias, unos boleros. Y yo le digo, brother, yo no sé tocar esa música. Es fácil, brother. Mira, yo sé que lo puedes hacer, tú eres bueno. Dale, chamo, vale.
Then we've got Oscar, who also likes to be in the background and do choruses. He's our saxophone player.
And he's from Mexico, so there's, again, a world of a realm of different folks from different Latin countries that come together to put this project.
As we've been making this film, it's been fascinating to hear these very creative individuals who come from particular traditional backgrounds, but also from a love of as a teenager of heavy metal music or reggae music that was not part of their tradition, but part of the shared culture.
se me ocurre hacer un proyecto, en inglés yo lo llamé un Money Maker Project, donde tocaba un part-time, donde tocábamos la música que la gente quisiera escuchar en restaurantes, pero no quería caer en el rock, pero tampoco quería caer en la música tropical tradicional.
When I joined, I think that shifted a little bit, and we started getting a little, instead of doing all cheesy music, we started doing some covers for that were completely out of the Latin spectrum, and then just Latinize the song.
Vamos a agarrar canciones en inglés de rock, pero las cambiamos y les metemos un ritmo tropical. So recently, when I say recently, maybe 3 years ago, our percussionists just were moved to Miami. And that's when Juan Carlos, a Dominican, came to the band.
Yo entré tocando las congas.
Sí.
Porque Joshua se iba a casar y eso, y se iba de aquí del estado. Entonces, Tony me dice, negro, agarra ahí porque no hay de otra. Y entonces ya después, yo le dije a Tony, pero oye, yo no soy conguero, o sea, te estoy haciendo la finca aquí, yo termino con la mano porque yo no estoy acostumbrado. Y busca la manera de que armemos la bandita bien y vamos a meter a Luigi aquí.
Luigi is another percussionist. To the band, he will be great, he will add a lot, and I was like, this is a money maker group, so I have to keep it 5-piece, otherwise it's just not gonna make sense. But he kept pushing and pushing, and now I understand. With Luigi, they have been together. They have been playing together since they were a kid. They're all from Dominican.
Primero fui yo que me metieron, porque yo tocaba en la iglesia y en San Marcos. Isaac iba a ayudarnos a tocar el bajo. Entonces un día creo que faltaba, no sé si un timbalero o un pianista. Entonces Isaac me dice que venga. Ya yo vine y me integré a la banda.
And those 3 guys, Tom, they, like I say, they have been playing together for many, many years. Added it to these 4 guys that they have been playing for 12 years. And that was the magic that we were missing. And that's the current structure of the band. And right now, I don't want to do anything without those guys.
Llega la pandemia y todos nos quedamos como que bueno, ¿y ahora qué hacemos? Imagínate si la gente no podía salir a trabajar, imagínate que quedaba para los músicos que querían salir a tocar.
The other thing that happened was that we were spending more time together, and we were working together on like silly creative projects. So we started making these silly songs. And Tony had been experimenting a bunch with recording music and like writing his own music.
I mess around with the computer. Don't ask me how, but I recorded it without knowing. Y Fred era una de las primeras personas que se las mandaba. Mira, man, escucha. Y se las mandaba al grupo. Yo creo que al principio no me paraba mucho.
Bueno, se volvió Se volvió,
El aburrimiento lo atacó.
se volvió compositor, se volvió, ¿cómo dice? Sonidista, se volvió ingeniero en grabaciones
Sí.
y cosas y sonidos.
Pero pienso yo, ese es Tony haciendo sus cosas y como él tiene el garaje acá con los equipos y todo, se le hace fácil. Que invente Tony sus cosas y haga su música y tal.
Ya se le pasará.
Ya se le pasará. Bueno.
I
A
keep
la, semana,
pushing, I
a, la,
keep
a la
pushing.
semana, a la semana me llegan los textos y los samples de música. Oye, Fred, ¿qué opinas de esto? Y Fred, dime que... Y poco a poco empecé a sacar unas letras. Por ejemplo, el primer tema de nosotros, ¿sabes lo que quiero?
That was my first time recording a horn section.
Vine, me senté, la grabé y así quedó.
Eso fue una experiencia para mí porque fue el primer tema que escribí de muchos años.
And that's kind of how it started.
Sabe lo que quiero, sabe lo que quiero. Y sabe lo que quiero, sabe lo que quiero. Y sabe lo que quiero, sabe lo que quiero.
It's a good representation of the band. You can hear the congas and the Caribbean feel, but you can also hear the bluesy guitar sound. And I was just so excited to put it out. I talked to my friend George Espinosa, which is the one that is mastering and mixing the whole album. And after that song, by that time we realized this is a pandemic. We're not gonna play for a while. And that's when I decided it, or I proposed to the band, let's just do an album, man.
I feel Tony use his knowledge of music and what he likes and what he feels, and any vision he had, he put together the right team to make this happen, and the team happened to be here within the community.
He started playing this, it was sort of like, it had a sort of old school Cuban feeling. Like a Buena Vista Social Club sort of kind of feel.
Luego pasa lo de George Floyd, que fue como ponerle otro cubo de hielo al vaso donde se derramó. Y me acuerdo yo que estábamos muy, muy tristes. Con el COVID descontrolado, pasa esto. Y yo tenía esos 4 acordes.
And I don't exactly remember what happened, but he was like, oh, I would love to write a song for this melody.
Y en 10 minutos literalmente escribe este poema que yo lo leo y le digo, wow, esta es la letra de la canción. No, pero es que esa no es una canción, es un poema. No, déjame trabajarlo. Se lo muestro a Fred y nada, el otro día viene Fred, le mete una melodía y ¡pum! Es como, wow. Y de una salimos, se lo mostramos a los muchachos y ahí es donde se me viene la idea, oye, vamos a invitar a nuestros hermanos panas latinos. Y me acuerdo de Christian.
So, he sends me kind of like, here's the lyrics. You want to do a rap? What do you want to do? So, I kind of took a little bit of what Eileen had written and kind of gave it my flavor to the song. The song is more of like a tropical salsa song. So we kind of did a little fusion of a rap in Spanish, per se. So it's all really natural, I think.
Lo moreno, tu labio rozando, siempre pasando lo bueno que goza. Tanta raíz es difícil olvidar toda la cultura que te dio mamá. A mucha gente confundida no sabe la historia de su vida. El que critica no sabe, tú eres diferente, tú tienes la llave. Nena, listen. Hey.
Tony said, hey, I have this, Eileen and I just wrote this song. Will you sing it with me? And they handed me a phone with the lyrics, and Tony played the song, and I sang Esperanza, and that's the first time. And then Tony asked me if I would be I guess the model. I don't know what the term is for the video. I said, yeah, of course. Well, I guess I should say actress for the video. And I said, yes, of course I will. And I think it was that fall then that I came to Charlotte and we shot the video. It was, it was a beautiful experience.
So in this studio, we record 80%, 85% of the stuff. Some of the stuff, Reynaldo record his guitar in his house.
This is our love. This is our love.
Danaya sing her part in his tiny closet in her room in Florida.
So the song Espumas, the singer, she recorded the scratch of the song on her iPhone, and her voice is amazing. It's Danaya, but she lives in Tampa. So we have been recording all the artists with this microphone. It's a Newman 105.
Todos buscamos lo mismo, tranquilidad para la mente.
I wanted to bring the microphone so she would do a recording of the song. But then, by coincidence, my mother was visiting here in Charlotte and she wanted to go to Tampa. And I said to Tony, this is the chance.
And he dropped off the mic.
And she recorded the song.
And I think I sent, I don't know, I sent him at least 15 to 20 takes, yeah.
And then this grant came up and it was perfect for him. So I helped him, but it was, his thing, but I helped him write it since that's one of my core skills.
So you have to buy microphones and interface and software. And I'm not working, I'm not producing, and it's the other way around. But I don't know why it was something that it was driving me.
So the Creative Renewal Fellowship, the applications came in just as COVID was happening, and so we had to really take time and think about what is feasible for that renewal. Historically, many people have used the Creative Renewal Fellowship to be able to do lots of travel or to go meet with creatives across the world that are where they have some synergy and they want to expand and learn and grow. And of course, COVID has made that more difficult for some. And so I was really intrigued with Tony's application, particularly where he talked about that renewal for him was investing in himself as a musician and the musicians around him, really being able to take that time to create together and bring that celebration of what's most meaningful to them, to life through music.
So send the application. I didn't hear anything back. And I remember getting a call. And it was Liz. And she's like, I'm not supposed to call you, but I'm so excited to tell you that you got the grant.
So we certainly know Tony as a fantastic musician. But where I really got to know Tony is in the ways that he creates festivals and events that really feature other creatives in the community, that really celebrate the arts, that really celebrate the Latino culture here. And so I have known Tony much longer from that kind of event perspective. And it's been a real joy to get to meet him as the musician and see him really flourish on stage and not just behind the scenes.
And I was like, I was jumping around and are you sure I got it? So in that moment, I assured that I need to continue doing this album.
Fue un disco que se hizo con mucho amor, con mucho empeño y sobre todo donde todos aportamos algo.
Sí, hay ideas ahí
Sí.
de cada quien.
Sí, porque Tony, aunque Tony es la cabeza, él siempre tomó en cuenta la idea de nosotros.
Sí.
Siempre tomó en cuenta lo que nosotros
eso se le
decíamos.
agradece mucho a Tony.
Sí, entonces él le puso mucho empeño al álbum y yo le admiro que él inició, porque muchos de nosotros empezamos proyectos así. Yo soy uno, que yo empiezo los proyectos y tengo mi computadora llena de proyectos empezados. Pero Tony empezó y lo hizo bien y lo acabó bien y estamos esperando el próximo.
La idea principal, ¿no? Nosotros como latinos y cultura y venimos de todas partes, ¿no? De todas regiones, diferentes tipos. Entonces la cara es un simbolismo a la final del hombre y de la mujer, ¿sí? Y tiene diferentes colores. Nosotros pues latinos somos morenos, somos amarillos, somos verdes, somos de todos los colores y somos unos... Más que todo, yo caracterizo al latino como una persona muy feliz, ¿sí? Entonces, pues esos colores brillantes de felicidad, pues los traté de poner ahí. También la persona en sí es un grupo, es una banda, es un músico, es una fiesta, es vida, que esa es al final eso es la música.
And I think that's what's really unique about this project that Tony has done is he's really kind of using it to celebrate his music, but bringing others into that, I hope expands a whole new world of folks to know that as a community, Charlotte values the contributions of each person.
Mi Sueño, which means my dream, is a song about, I guess it's so it's like, again, I started to write it as a poem with just like little snippets of glances at like the lives of immigrants in the US. And it's really inspired by people that we know and have relationships with.
You know, it talks about Ricardo, it talks about the little girl, it talks about, you know, names are names, but what we did is try to put a little bit of each one of us into the stories.
The people who are making the album are embedded in a time when history is not simple and history sometimes is not very pleasant, the history we're making right now. Immigrants are not always welcomed, and immigrants always give up something in order to move toward the opportunity of the new place.
I think about the mostly the little ones, the younger, the kids, especially little ones. They don't know what's going on. They're asking why, what's happening, or they don't know. They have these undocumented people. They want to send them back over, and you know, some of these kids they're going to send back over to whatever to Mexico. But they don't know what's going on. They're undocumented. Oh man, I'm sorry.
I want to use this song as the single of the album. Like I say, I'm very proud of my community, all of those folk that you see working hard, living with fear is a terrible thing.
And so the song Mi Sueño talks about people's lived experience here in this glistening city, and how hard it can be, what you give up in order to move toward opportunity.
Sometimes you don't have a choice, and sometimes you're here and you have to provide for your family, and you have to make sure you put food on the table for your family.
And so the realities of what people live when they come and have the fear of being deported, or whether they will be able to reunite with families. Those stories of the anxiety and the lived experience of being on the fringe, being left out, being without resources, or sometimes even the language to know how to ask for resources. I think our music can help us honor that hurt while also celebrating what we do carry with us.
That's the song. We're gonna work. We're gonna do a video and we hopefully a lot of people will watch it, and I'm trying to involve the community to help me make this video, and hopefully we can release it when we release the album.
This is a magical moment when 10, 15 years from now, people will be different, the mixing will be different, the influences will be different, and people will look back in the 2020s and say, how did we get here? And this record is a record of that.
Señoras y señores, voy a contar una historia que todavía no se ha acabado. Jennifer vino de 5, casi no habla español, tiene recuerdos lejanos del río, el desierto y el terror. Iba a graduarse este año, pero la escuela dejó. ¿Cuál es el punto? Pregunta. Sin papeles, ¿qué puedo hacer yo? Hay personas en la vida que sueñan con un mundo mejor, pero solo necesitan acceso a la educación. Ricardo era un cirujano y aquí reparte Amazon. Cientos de cajas repletas de objetos que él no compró. Marta le limpia a unos gringos, siempre le pagan en cash. No se pregunta si ella por eso no les cobra más. Hay personas en la vida que sueñan con un mundo mejor, pero solo necesitan justicia y apreciación. Luis tiene negocio propio, ya son 50 empleados, paga todos sus impuestos, pero igual siempre vive asustado. Hay personas en la vida que sueñan con un mundo mejor, pero solo necesitan reforma a la inmigración.
aquí, si me quedo me voy, ya no importará lo que pasará. En la vida hay caminos que se toman y nunca hay que mirar atrás. Aceptar que se puede hacer